Hi guys, welcome back to Intimacy TV. My name is Mel, and as I said, we are always here about raw conversation, real education. So today's topic is going to be about, do you know what your worth is? And I want to talk about how I had been offered $4,500 per hour for my time. Now, that's a lot of fucking money. Let's just be blunt. But I didn't even flinch at politely saying no. So what had happened was yesterday we had a Facebook Live and we were talking about the app called Seeking Arrangements and about sugar daddies. And so during my experiment of going out there and having a looking at what was out there, I actually had a young gentleman who said he was into older women, and he was quite interested in catching up. So he wanted to chat on Skype, and we got on Skype, and the conversation, like initially on his profile and everything was all nice. And he said, "Oh, you know what I'm looking for, don't you?" And I went, "Well, why don't you just bluntly tell me so that way there's no miscommunication?" And he came back and he said, "I'm looking for the nastiest slut in Melbourne." The nastiest, did he call it the nastiest girl slut? Or no, the nastiest slut in Melbourne. And I turned around and my response was, "Well, I'm not a slut. And and that's the way that you can talk to girls, but I'm a woman. So as a woman, I don't appreciate the terminology slut." And for someone to say, well, turn around and go, "Well, I'm offering you $4,500 per hour." And it was like, thanks, but no thanks. So now the reason why I've said thanks for no thanks, I mean, $4,500 an hour is a lot of money, to be a so-called nastiest slut in Melbourne. And I know my worth. That could pay off half my credit card, be fabulous. I could pay it off in one night. But I know what real catch, hey Kerry, but I know my worth. Now, what I want you to know is that this wasn't just a normal Joe Blogs. This particular person that had contacted me actually is a professional sports player. And I do normally say, keep away from a lot of the pro sports players, because they run around like a second-hand lawnmower. And of course, he had wanted, to make sure that he gets what he wants. And I find it very fascinating. It was like, you know what, if you want to call me a slut, and you think that $4,500 per hour is enough to call me a slut, you can, and the nastiest slut in Melbourne is what you're looking for, I really wanted to say, go fuck yourself. Now, funnily enough, his profile name was, under, fit, fun, and healthy and whatever, and it should be young, dumb, and full of cum. Because this young little man, not even a man, I'm going to say a boy, the way that, because I said, you know what, I'm not interested in stuff like that. Now, the thing is, he actually came, when I said, I'm sorry, I'm a woman and I don't like to be, referred to as a slut, he was like, "Oh, well, what a shame. I'd be paying you $4,500. It was like, and then he did a kiss and a circle, like the X and the circle. So I responded with an X and a circle, which was another way to go, fuck you. Now, he came back and he said, "Oh, well, send me 3 of your best photographs," and I was like, why bother? I'm not going to send you any photographs because, quite frankly, you haven't got a hope of hell. Like my response, I did it very polite. It was like, I just don't think we want the same things. For me, I would rather have really amazing, mind-blowing sex than what you're looking for. So I don't think we actually are on the same page. And he was gobsmacked that I'm knocking this back. So I know what my value is. So can you, or do you know, I remember there was the movie. Remember the movie, guys, that was out? And if any of you remember the name of it, please put it down. But do you remember the movie where it was buying the wife for $1 million? Would you, let your wife sleep with another man for $1 million? I can't remember what the movie name was called, but I remember it was really controversial. So for $4,500 per hour to be the nastiest slut in that particular town at the time, would you be willing to go and do that? Is that what your value is? So for me, I looked at to have an experience with this man to pay off my bills, I'm pretty sure if someone's asking for the nastiest slut in Melbourne, that it's going to be something that's going to be quite, because I said I don't really do porn star shit. I actually quite frankly find it ... boring. And, you know, so I could be sitting there and, you know, Find a Bride. What was it? Is that the name of the, I don't think that was the name of the movie. Yeah, you know, it was sort of like, I looked at it and went, would the money be in, you know, like, is it worth the derogatory experience that I would have? Because I'm sure if indecent proposal, good on you, Tracy. You know, and to me it was an indecent fucking proposal, you know, the way he went about it. And it was like, you know, all right, if you're talking to me like this and you don't understand that a woman, not a girl, all right, a woman, that, because you don't want to deal with an escort or hooker who gets actually paid, you know, and can be, and I don't think they should be spoken to that way, but they do get talked to that, talked to that way, you know, might take the $4,500 an hour to be the nasty slut in Melbourne. However, you are on a website of seeking ranges, which I'm totally fine with, and you're saying what you want, but you don't use that terminology to get what you want. So if you're talking to me that way and you don't understand that a woman, an older woman, does not like to be talked to as the word slut, then that means that the entire sexual experience, or just the experience of being in your surroundings, is going to be quite demeaning and derogatory. And quite frankly, my value and how much I value myself is, it's not enough. That is not enough money. In fact, I'm not sure that you can give me enough money, because I sit there and look at it from the other side and go, your behavior could be quite mentally damaging, and that's long term. Is the money to go and be around somebody like that, to invest your time, regardless of what happens, to invest your time with someone who has that mentality, that can be permanently scarring, if you allow it, you know, to the rest of your life. Is that money worth it? So funnily enough, I'd actually already turned around and, you know, was shutting down my Skype. And this person had come back and actually had given it a third go at it, as he was saying, you know, like, you're out. If you don't like what I'm saying, you're out. Then he gives me a second chance, you're out. And then he actually asked me if I give good head. It was like, I give amazing head. Not that I responded to him, but I'm not even going to fucking give you 2 seconds more of my time, other than the desire to tell you that you should change your profile name to Young, Dumb, and Full of Cum. So, you know, so what I want you guys to think about is, what is your value? How do you value yourself? Would you actually go and do something for someone else? Or, and we're not even talking it has to be sexual, right? But even when you're around a partner, a friend, people, and they want you to do something that you don't want to do, or you feel might be bringing you the way, you know, like, make you feel dirty or uncomfortable, even just uncomfortable, you know, why do you do it? How much do you value yourself? So I want you guys to go off and think about that, because I think that's the part that we are missing most of the time. Even when you put up with the partner's bullshit, and you sit there and you go, you know, well, you know, I'm hoping that they will change, or they're just going through a phase, or you end up being an enabler, and you're justifying their behavior, right? This is, you know, on both sides. So, you know, you sit there and you go, oh yeah, but they're the mother of my children, or the father of my children. It really shows how much you value yourself, and I'm going to say you value yourself pretty low. And so I really want you guys to go look in the mirror and go, how much do I value myself? To put myself in the work situations I'm in, the family situations I'm in, the friend situations I'm in, the relationship situations I'm in. Is it worth it? Okay? No money is enough to allow someone to demean you and destroy who you are. Yeah, exactly. I don't care if you're famous. I don't care if it's a lot of money. I value who I am as a person, and I don't want to have to go to therapy later because I actually feel shame, guilt, or any of that other stuff, which most of us actually experience every day. So that is a lesson today, is to go and have a look, really sit down and look at the excuses, because that's what they are, that you make for yourself and for other people around you for the situations that you are in, and go and look at how much you value yourself and is it really worth it. So till the next episode from Intimacy TV, bye from me.